Hello, my name is Katrina. I am the owner and creator of Lanyard Funk. One of my goals this year was to create a YouTube channel, and that's to help small businesses like myself get started doing pop-ups or even pop-ups is the new name, it's the trendy name, but craft fairs, the do's and don'ts, and what you should do to get started. I do have a little checklist here, some stuff to keep me on track, so you may see me glance down. The first main question that I get is, how do I find a pop-up? Usually what I do is I'll go on Facebook. I'm in a lot of groups and I'll see if they have anything posted. Or I'll also on Facebook type in pop-ups near me, and there's always a list of pop-up. If you want to travel, you can always do pop-ups in whatever city you would like to be in. The next thing is Instagram. Instagram is really good with posting upcoming pop-ups or craft fairs. You can also go on TikTok. Sometimes they will have like little flyers or videos made of upcoming pop-ups. But the main thing that I've learned to do is after doing my first pop-up is networking. Like going around to each vendor, meeting them, giving them your card or postcard, which I'll cover that in a minute. But I network a lot and I create friends, so that way, if they see something that I like, I am always contacted, so I don't have to search too hard. Um, the next thing is, what's the list of supplies you want, and it's a lot to get started. I suggest that you try to use what you have and just collect stuff along the way because it can add up real fast. The main thing, tables. I have a total of 3 tables. All of them are the 6 foot table, but I am going to add a 4 foot table to my setup because I like to change the way my booth is set up, and so it'll give me more options when setting up my booth. So make sure at least start off with 1 table, and then as you go along, build up. Like, don't put a whole lot of money into getting started because sometimes simple is better. So just start off with 1 table and work your way on up. The next thing, if you know you're going to be outside, get you a canopy, especially one that you could do by yourself, because sometimes I have had the experience of a canopy, which is a tent, and I could not get that sucker up, and I was by myself, and I hate asking for help, and I had to ask for help. So make sure you get a canopy that you can put up by yourself. I can always give you a list of names that I think and I've had experience with that will work really good. Um, and if you have somebody help you, which I usually have somebody go with me now, that helps as well. Also, you'll need tablecloths for your table. Um, I usually go on Amazon and find the stretchy ones. I'm thinking about changing though, because I've been going to some events that are a little more classy, so I want my tablecloths to fit. But I usually get the spandex kind. I am quite colorful, so my tablecloths are like pink, and I have some in black. But I love the color black, so I'm thinking about just changing all my tablecloths out to black so I can have pop of color on the table. The next thing that you'll need weights. If this is for your canopy, your tent, you'll need weights. You need at least 40 pounds on each leg. Some people like the water bag weights. Some people like the sandbag. For me, I like the plastic ones. They kind of look like weights, like you lift. And I like those simply because I don't want to have to weigh stuff in my car. I don't want anything spilling. I know I'm really clumsy, and if it could happen, it's gonna happen to me. Another thing that I think would be really good, I haven't purchased one yet, but I'm noticing um, I think it would be really good is a director's chair to sit down in because it keeps you eye level with people, and it makes a big difference when making eye contact. Now, granted, I really don't sit down in my pop ups. If you ever came to one, it had to be really slow for me to sit down, or it hadn't started yet. Usually, I am always standing. I'm barely on my phone. Unless I am streaming and inviting people to come, I always stand up just so people don't feel like I am bothered with their presence. Like I'm always ready to greet them because they didn't have to come visit my booth. Um, the next thing that you will need is a money holder. I know a lot of people will go get the cute cash box and put it on the table and have the setup. I do not like that. Simply because my booth is interactive. I am interactive with my customers, and I don't want to have to worry about watching if somebody steals from me. So I use a fanny pack. And it helps as well when I have somebody working with me because then I could pass it off to them, interact, they could take the change. We keep it close to us, and so it's hard for people to steal. And you'll also find that when you're packing up stuff, you don't have to want to worry about what you did with your money because it's already attached to you. The next thing that you'll need when you do a pop up, and this isn't something that you get, you know, beforehand, it's changed. This is something you would get a couple of days before. Or if you're like me, I've started collecting my ones so I don't have to worry about going to the bank. I hate going to the bank. If I don't have to, I don't go. But I always take at least $101 bills with me simply because, even if it's a big pop up, simply because your customers will supply the change as far as five and tens that you'll need, or even 20s. So most of the time, the hardest thing to ever come across will be $1 bills. So I always take $101 bills with me. Now, granted, if I'm doing like a 2 or 3 day event, if it's really busy that first day, I may go back early that morning before the start of the next day and get more $1 bills. But I always just start off with $101 bills. I don't make it complicated. I don't make it hard on myself. Just $101 bills. Um, Also, what I take with me, I take pens, calculators. Um, I love paper. I might be showing my age, but I love to write because that makes it a reality. And I just basically take that. So, say somebody asks me about something, or I happen to hear a good idea, or something pops up in my head. I don't have to worry about remembering. I can write it on my paper. It makes me happy. Um, Also, the next thing is a lot of people always talk about business cards. I used to be the main person. I love business cards. I would get them, um, and I would have to wait for them to come in. And I design a lot of my stuff as well. And if you ever want a video on like doing some basic stuff, I can do that for you too. But I used to do business cards, and then I stopped because my business kept changing. So what I do now is I actually make postcards. Those are more eye catching. The customer can hold on to them better. I don't have to worry about them putting my business cards in their pockets and forgetting them. I could spray whatever room spray I have on the back of them and pop them into a bag. And what's so crazy is I could probably get 100 of those for maybe at the most $10 compared to 100 business cards for 20, 30, $40. So and they're shiny. So, and I could design them and how I want, and I have more room to work with. So I use postcards. So that has been my biggest thing, and it's actually eye catching. People actually stop and look at those, or ask somebody, "What is that in your hand?" And I can provide like little tidbits of information. Even sometimes if I'm feeling frisky, I'll throw a joke on there just at the bottom. So that has been a big hit for me. That's one thing that I think works for me. If you are a small business and you have like some small business cards, try the postcards and see how you like those. If you have questions about those, I can answer those as well. Um, Another thing that I use, and this is basically goes back to the money part. I have a mini iPad and I use Square to check out. I also have Venmo and Zelle as my payment options. And I always tell people when they ask me, do you take, if it is money, I take it. One way or another, I'm going to take it. I'm going to find a way to take it. I have every option possible. If you push the envelope, I take PayPal. I take everything. I never let a sale walk away from me. So just keep that in mind when you're setting up your small business or you're about to do a pop up. Never let money walk away from you. They don't come back simply because you didn't have a form of payment the first time they came to you. So always be prepared. Um, Another thing that I do is really good, and it works. It's so easy because that way, if I'm busy with one customer and somebody wants to start checking out, I have my QR code on my business card, and I use Linktree for that. So that way, it gives them all my payment methods. It takes them to my TikTok, and it tells them all about me. I can add or subtract my links as I see fit, and then give myself exposure on the things that I want them to see about me. So that works. Um, these are like the biggest things that have been um, just getting started, have been major for me, that I learned how to tweak and make fit me. The last thing that I have, business signs. So the main thing you always want to remember, a customer should never forget your name. They should never not know your name. So I have small business signs on my table. I have a retractable business card. I'm sorry, a business sign on my beside my booth, or even inside my booth. Because sometimes you have people next to you and you don't want to intrude on their space. But I do have a retractable. I just recently found a way to create a small banner, the kind that folds over your table. Now that it worked out really good because I found a way to get that for $13 instead of 40. Every way you can cut corners, that's what you do. So it makes a big difference. So you always want to have your name, the name of your business somewhere. Even at vendor pop-ups, I have my t-shirt. If somebody is there working with me, they have my name on their t-shirt. Like, it's always going to be Lanyard Park somewhere. You're going to either smell me or you're going to see me. I'm going to make sure that if you don't buy anything today, you're going to wish you did. So those are some of the things that I feel like are important. I think I covered the bases. Mm, oh, one last thing to go with your tent if you ever have to do a pop up. Um, some small things. Uh, Buy the tent walls that go with your tent. They come in handy, especially if you go to an event. Sometimes you will go to an event and you don't have a very friendly neighbor. You can always put your walls up. Sometimes you do have to leave your tent up overnight. You already have your walls to cover your stuff, and all you have to do is strap them down at the legs, and just close your booth up like closing up shop. I have a toolbox, and in that toolbox, I have screwdrivers, zip ties, box cutters, scissors, glue, tape, extra pins. It's basically like a sewing kit for a pop up. And you never know what will happen, and you don't want to be unprepared. And you don't want to have to call anybody to go run, or you have to leave your booth, and then you leave merchandise to be purchased. So that little toolbox, which is crazy because I bought it from Dollar Tree, and as I see fit, I throw stuff in there. So um, just keep in mind to make yourself a list. If you need me to type this list out and put it at the bottom, I will. As I start to be confident in myself. I will start to ask stuff that has really helped me. If you have any questions or you need any help, I promise you, I will do my best to answer all of them, because I didn't have anybody ask. And when you go to pop up, you're looking like, ugh, should I do that? So, um, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. Hopefully, this video has been informational, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.